Hey everybody, just wanted to try something a little different today. I realized recently that although I've recorded the main chords to Coded Wraith, those big fluttery chords, twice, once in 2019 when I was first just kind of jamming around, and then again 2 years later in 2021 when I recorded the bones of this song that I later revised and turned into what it is now, I never actually saved the synth settings to a preset on the OB-6, and I didn't do it the first time or the second time, shame on me. But I thought it would be kind of fun to try to do it today and see if we can get something that is pretty close to the original. A quick word about the synth itself. The OB-6, it's kind of my bread and butter polysynth. All those big, lush, filter sweep sounds. That's what I love this thing for. 100% sweet spot. It's hard to make bad sounds on this thing, which just makes it so much fun to use. And that's why you hear it on pretty much every song. But yeah, so let's get started and let's take a look at the song, and we'll take a look at the synth in a little bit and see where we're going. Okay, so here we have the project for Coded Wraith, and I'll just play it real quick so you can hear it. So the track that we are looking at is this OB-6 print, which is my main chords here. I'll turn the reverb off. Okay, and so this was recorded in I think 2021 maybe, just after the pandemic, but it all came from I'll just show you real quickly. It all came from a project that was created in 2019 that's just like a whole bunch of jams that I have on the OB-6, and so when I first got it, especially, I was doing a ton of jams with it. And so that original file is right here, and it sounds like this. So very similar. And I had originally recorded that, and obviously, again, I never saved the patch, but I was able to recreate it in the newer song like 2 years later, and it sounded like this. And I've moved the old track here just so we can hear the difference. It's a little bit different, but very similar. There's more of a resonant sweep on it. So let's see if we can recreate this. So I'm going to start a new track here that we can play around with. If we use our MIDI. So this is what it sounds like on a very basic track. So what I'm hearing here is we need to have some resonant sweep. So that's when we're going to use our frequency and resonance with an envelope. And then there's some weird fluttering going on. And I believe that is octave on a square wave modulator. And so we'll see what we can do about that. I think the first thing we're going to do is set up some sort of an envelope that'll sound slightly similar. So let's work on that real quickly. So let's go on our low pass so we can hear it better. We'll give it kind of a slow attack, slow come down. Reduce our sustain so that it heads back down afterwards. Add some sub-octave in there because I think we need it. And now you can hear the flutter is not a single fluttering sound. It is made of multiple fluttering sounds. Let's listen to that. So that tells me that we're not going to be able to get away with using the LFO, which is going to mean we have to use our second oscillator, but I'll show you exactly why. So if we play and say we wanted to use the LFO to create that flutter, we'll go down to square, kind of a medium frequency. That's going to modulate everything together except for that sub-octave, which is not quite the right sound. So what we need to do instead is to use oscillator 2 as a low frequency oscillator and set it to square wave. That's good. And then we're going to use our cross mod to modulate the pitch of VCO1 based on the rate of VCO2. And we're going to turn the LFO off, and it's going to sound like this. So it needs to be slower. Now if I turn it all the way, that's a double octave. So we actually need to be it's a little hard to tune. That sounds about right to my ears. We can change the rate of VCO2 just a little bit. Now this pulse width of VCO2 is going to be something that we're going to have to look at and tune once we get closer. So let's just kind of see where we are right now. I'm going to do something right now that'll just get us closer right out of the box. We're going to add some chorus. There's a lot more high frequency content there that we're not getting. So I'm thinking we're going to have to go from a low pass filter to a high pass in some form. That's going to sound like this. That's already a lot closer. I'm going to add a little bit of notch in there. No, I think we're definitely going too far up. It's starting to get a little closer. Let's see where we are here. Boy, that's pretty close. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mess with the wave type and see, and the probably the pulse width too, and see if we can just get the oscillators to sound a little bit more like the other ones. I think that's more of a saw wave maybe. I think that's probably close enough for me. Okay, so if we print this out real quick, see how it sounds in context. add our reverb to that and see where we are. It's definitely louder. Okay, well, I think we got it very close to the original. Maybe not quite perfect, but I think it's close enough, certainly to be usable in a live situation. And I could further tweak it on my own time when you're not sitting there watching me and try to get it a little bit closer too. But hopefully you found that interesting. Let me know if you have any comments, any questions. I'd be happy to talk about this stuff. Talk to you later.